I believe that Blue Pearl almost jeopardized my dog's life. I took my dog in there. They didn't even draw blood work on her, and they just sent her home with pain pills, thinking that it was possibly arthritis. And she had a severe infection with a high temperature, and they neglected to give her antibiotics for her, almost costing her her life. And I had to go to a different veterinarian and seek those antibiotics. I chose to go to the Blue Pearl because my dog was very sick. She just wasn't acting herself. She is a 10-year-old boxer. She was acting very lethargic, anorexic, just not eating very well, and kind of painful at times when going to pick her up or anything, touch her. And that's just not like her. Usually she's pretty spry. She acts like a young boxer. And so this was just abnormal for her. And I knew she was kind of sick. She was also really hot. And so I was figuring she's running a temperature, so I took her into the Blue Pearl because they were kind of the only clinic in our area that was open at night for an emergency clinic. And I took her to them, and we went in for her to be checked up, and they took her back without me. And I said, well, I want to go with my dog, and they said that they don't normally allow people to go back with their dogs because it's an emergency clinic. And so I never got to go back with her. They just took her in the back, and then they told me it'd be about 30 minutes to talk with me after they checked her out. And it was about an hour and a half later that they called me back and then had me come into a room to talk to me. And the lady who was talking to me was just kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like flower talk. It just was kind of like, oh, well, she could possibly have arthritis, or, you know, different things, and dogs may make them act a different way. And I was like, let's get past the coffee talk. What's going on with my dog? You know, you've checked her out. Like, what do you feel is wrong with her? And she goes, well, we could do a CT scan and an MRI. And she was just trying to push all these tests at me. And I'm a nurse. I'm very educated. I'm very smart. And I said, no, I think I wanted to start with a basic blood panel. Let's check her blood and see what's going on from there. And so they had taken her temperature, and her temperature was 105 point something. And for dogs at 106, they start to get brain damage and have like mental debilities from that temperature being so high in their body and kind of frying their brain. They took her, or they said that they took her blood, and they came back with the blood results, and they said that everything was fine. Everything was completely fine on the blood work. They thought she had arthritis, and so they prescribed some tramadol and gabapentin and sent her home. And I said, my dog is sick. She has a high temperature. I said, can I get some antibiotics? I said, I know that she's sick. And they said, no, we don't just prescribe antibiotics without like an elevated white blood cell count or something, you know, representing that she has a true infection. And so I was very upset with that. I said, well, you know, I know she needs it. You guys won't give it to me. I guess I'm going to have to go somewhere else. So I left there, and that alone, just that checkup and just blood work, cost $500. And so then I ended up taking my dog to my vet the very next day. Overnight, she wasn't doing very well, and I was afraid I was going to lose her. So I took her to my vet the next day, and he goes, I can't believe they did not start her on an antibiotic. He goes, she is very sick. She was pretty much septic at this point, very lethargic, not moving around, couldn't eat, you know, urinating incontinence on herself. And so my vet started her on 2 oral antibiotics, but at this point, she was too far along with the infection. And so we ended up trying to get her treated with that, and she kind of went downhill further. And I'm a nurse, so I started an IV on her. And so I gave her like 1,500 mils of fluid, and then I rushed her to another emergency vet, which is Iowa Veterinary Specialties. And they took her in, and I had a repeat blood work done. This was like day 3 from after seeing Blue Pearl, because I saw Blue Pearl on on Friday, my vet on Saturday, and I took her to the emergency clinic on Sunday. So at the emergency clinic, they redid blood work, and her white blood cell count, all the markers for infection were just off the charts. Now, that reflection in an increase in those metabolites, those reflect an infection, and that would have been elevated on Friday, and my dog didn't have any like poke marks or anything on her arm from getting her blood taken that day at Blue Pearl. And when I went to start her IV, I didn't notice any marks or any puncture wounds where they had attempted to take blood. So I feel that they never truly accurately took the blood, and they didn't have accurately reported levels, because the results from the Iowa Veterinary Specialties compared to theirs was a significant difference, and they pretty much could have cost my dog her life had I just listened to what they had to say and I didn't choose to go to my vet. And if I wasn't an educated person, you know, being a nurse, I knew my dog was still going downhill. She still wasn't at baseline. And so that was very concerning for me. And I'm just very upset at Blue Pearl's professionalism. I called them back and I let them know, you know, what my vet said, what happened at Iowa Veterinary Specialties. I asked to talk to their legal representative or whoever represents them, and ask for my money back or get a refund. And they keep telling me, oh, we'll have them call you back, we'll have them call you back. But nobody has in fact called me back yet. So I'm still waiting on a call back from them to try and attempt to get my money back, because they never treated my dog. They actually almost cost her life. But it's very hard to try and get a hold of them, and nobody's calling me back. So I would just like other customers that have pets or loved ones that they care about to be aware of what the Blue Clinic or the Blue Pearl Clinic has been doing, and to prevent other people from losing their pets or not getting accurate care or care provided for them. I believe from this point they would need to reimburse me for the money that I have spent there. I would like somebody from their corporate to reach out to me to apologize for their unprofessionalism and their lack of care and their negligence in care for my animal.